such an honour to meet you, John. Your music for me in the 80s got me out of some trouble, got me into some trouble. We used to hang out in the Sandman panel van, and it was always the Angels or AC/DC in the tape deck. And I remember in the summer of '81, there was a compilation album, and the Angels had a song called Into the Heat.
Yeah, great song.
Still one
Iceman coming from the cold. We wrote that about our friend Ivor Davies.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, he had Ice House. So so the hook line goes, Iceman coming from the cold.
Yeah.
He was and still is a great friend of ours.
Yeah, great band. Yeah, great band themselves. Yeah, but the Angels. I was listening to Symphony of Angels the other day, and I was so impressed. It was still the Angels songs, but it had that beautiful depth of the orchestra.
It's one of the greatest experiences of my musical life, and I think Rick would say the same thing. We all loved it. We've done 7 of those shows now, and we've got another couple coming up. We're doing the Palais Theatre in Melbourne, and we're doing Majesty's Theatre in Adelaide in June. So, and then I think that we'll give that a rest for a while. But it's an amazing experience, And what we found, because Rick and I grew up in a classical musical family. Our dad was the principal cellist of the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra, and then he was the director of music for the ABC. His father, who we never met because he died just before I was born, but he was a concert pianist. He composed over 600 works. So when we do that symphony show, we walk on stage to a piece of his symphony. And that's quite a goosebump moment, I can tell you.
Oh, I can totally agree. And I would never have thought of the Angels with the symphony orchestra, but it works. It works beautifully. And you can see that musical DNA come down, when you're on stage as well.
Yeah, we kind of realised, thinking back to when we wrote those songs and recorded them. I remember when we recorded Mr. Damage, and Rick and I were jumping around the studio because we thought, this is great, this is fantastic. I said, and I remember saying to Rick, can you imagine this song with violins? And Rick went, oh yeah, that'd be amazing. So now we do it with violins and a choir, of course, a choir. We just realised that our upbringing, we were surrounded so much by classical music that when we started writing rock songs, we didn't realise it at the time, but actually that sort of upbringing has really come through in our songwriting. When you think about the solo in Take a Long Line, for example, where we change the key, it goes up C, C minor, G, B minor, etc. Go through that whole chord progression. And I remember when Rick and I were in the studio recording his solo, we actually sang the solo before he played it. That's why Rick's solos are so memorable.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up watching you guys on Countdown. I'm really a little bit starstruck here, but I remember seeing the Angels at the Raffles Hotel in Perth. You were supporting, Johnny Diesel was supporting you.
Yeah, that Raffles, I remember. Yeah, we had many great shows at Raffles.
And at that show, poor Johnny Diesel is on stage with his little guitar, and the whole crowd's just going, Angels, Angels. Poor Johnny. He wasn't a star.
It's always been a source of embarrassment for us because that does. Yeah. Well, it doesn't happen these days.
No.
Well, actually, most of the time. I mean, most of the time, there's a lot of these Red Hot Summers, for example. There's a whole series of bands, and it just works so well. And the camaraderie that exists between us all, like us and the Baby Animals, we're living in, and they're all fans of ours, and we're fans of theirs, But back in the old days, there was a bit of that competitive thing going on, and we were always embarrassed when our support act would get a hard time. One of the bands that worked best with us, we did a whole tour with them, was the Eurogliders, and I thought, Eurogliders, how is that going to work with us? It worked really well. It was good. It was fantastic, and the fans didn't give them a hard time. But if you put another rock band. A hard rock band, they'd go, F off.
Now, John, your beautiful family, the Brewster Brothers, doing
Yeah.
the rarities of the Angels. Now I'm a bit hurt you're not coming to Perth with that show.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, so are we, because we love going to Perth. But
Yeah.
we're just doing these 4 shows. We did a warm up show to see what it's be like, but the reason we're doing it is because Dave is also in the Screaming Jets. So when he goes out on the road in
Yes.
the Screaming Jets, we're really quite happy to have a break, by the way. But we just got talking one day and went, well, you know, it'd be just great to do some of these songs that people love that we never play. You know, songs like Eat City and Don't Waste My Time and maybe Alexander, I don't know. I wrote a song called Shelter from the Rain. I might sing that one. I'm not sure yet. But there's just so many songs that we know that people love. Out of the Blue, for example. You know, it's
that's beautiful.
Or Wasted Sleepless Nights. It's a great song. But you know, with the Angels, we most of the shows we do, we're on stage for an hour, so we play all the hits, you know, Marseille, Shadow Boxer, Take a Long Line, Face Again, all that, which is great. We love it, and Dave's a fantastic front man. But it just so happens that our drummer Nick Norton is also a fantastic front man. So
I
we
did
thought,
see that.
yeah,
I haven't heard him sing yet though, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
He's like right up there. So, you know, we just thought, let's do this for fun. So we are. And so we never do anything unless we sort of do it fairly properly, you know. So we went into the studio and recorded a 4-track EP, which we love. It's called Lives of Grace. Lives of Grace is a song it's a Brewster Brothers song. We wrote that for the Brewster Brothers when we weren't performing in the Angels. And we just went into Ricky Ray's studio in Melbourne with Mick Skelton on the drums. Mick plays in the Baby Animals, and he's wonderful, a wonderful guy, wonderful drummer. And we just nailed 4 songs, and so that's released at the same time as these shows.
It's interesting. I was seeing that have you redone Night Attack? Has it been remastered?
Yeah. We just went, okay, so the Brewster Brothers Electric is about Angels rarities. So it's an Angel show, but it's with a difference. And so we thought, okay, what would be a good song to do? You know, Night Attack. Night Attack's a fantastic song.
I was really excited when I saw that. The album is only available through the Angels website. Is that true?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely get that one. So Lives of Grace is definitely something I want to experience. So you've got some gigs. You've got 2 coming up in New South Wales, and is it 2 more in Victoria? You've got 14th and the 15th around Newcastle, don't you? In April.
Newcastle. Yeah, I think Newcastle's on the 15th at Wickham Park, and we do the Bridge. The Bridge Hotel in Sydney is, you know, one of the last bastions of good old pub rock. You know, it's a fairly small venue, but you know, it holds about 300 people, but it's fantastic. And so we do, I mean, with the Angels, we do 3 nights and sell out 3 nights there with the Brewster Brothers Electric, you know. Well, if we get a couple hundred people, I'll be really happy. So
the room must seem really, really full because you've got that, and then you've got all your memories and everyone else's memories, and it must just be a really condensed experience, a bit surreal for you guys, or is it just it's even more special doing the rarities now than
I mean it's going to be a blast, you know. We're going to love it, you know, because the band is great, and to have my son Tom on the drums, I've got to tell you, he's amazing. He's not a professional musician. He works as a project manager for a big landscape firm, so he's not a professional drummer, but he might as well be. He's just brilliant.
I think from your family, he wouldn't need any training. It would just be in his blood, you know, before he's even born.
There's a bit of a lineage going on.
Oh, yeah, I think it's wonderful. It's going to keep going too, keep the tradition going. So I also wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, if you have time, how did you and Doc Neeson meet?
Yeah, that's a good question. We had the Moonshine Jug and String Band.
That's right. Yeah, he's so young in those pictures.
It sort of started off as a thing. We were all at uni doing various things, and we just started that as a fun thing, and it became quite popular, very popular. And we were doing a lot of university shows, etc. And our original guitar player, because I played the banjo in that, and harmonica and stuff.
Yes,
so our original,
harmonica.
yeah.
Sorry.
I still have to do it. Rick tells me I've got to play, so we
Yeah.
do Devil's Gate and I play my harp solo.
But, yeah, that's right.
Then I try and recover afterwards because it's a bit of a workout on the lungs.
Yeah, it is. It's like didgeridoo, cyclic breathing.
yeah, kind of like that. But so our original guitar player was Craig Holden, who's Mark Holden's brother.
Yeah.
And he's we catch up with him every now and again. He lives in Adelaide, and he didn't want to stay in the band because he was going overseas to study architecture. He's become a pretty major developer and stuff in Adelaide, and so he's kind of so when he wanted to leave, somebody, I can't remember who it was, suggested Doc Neeson. Said, "Oh, there's this guy Doc Neeson is at Flinders University studying drama," and I was there too. I studied drama,
right.
filmmaking, and at Flinders University. So that's how we met Doc, and Doc came in the band playing guitar, and the band just got more and more popular. I wrote a song called "Keep You on the Move," which was a hit in Adelaide. It's only released in Adelaide, but it was a hit. And I went to Rick. Rick had just got his degree as an agricultural scientist, and I said to Rick, "You know that band Sherbet?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "I reckon if we start a rock band, we could knock them off in 12 months. What do you reckon?" It's a very, very nasty thing for me to say, but anyway, it took 4 years. But Rick just said, "Yeah, okay, I'll do that." He might as well throw that degree out the window. I spent all night talking Doc into it. And then
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, he wasn't 100% keen at first, but I think talking through the night about it would have been a really great memory, and would have been.
Yeah, I think I might have worn him down.
I can just imagine you two just drinking beer all night. Just okay, I'll let me go to sleep. I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, beer or something. But I probably wore him down. He probably, at the end of it, about 9 o'clock in the morning, he said, "Okay, I'm in." so the rest, as they say, is history.
It sure is. I was very thrilled to see that there's a documentary released, Kicking Down the Door.
Yeah,
it's done really very excited for that.
It's done really well. I shift a bit uncomfortably in my seat when I see it. I didn't see it until the opening night at the Adelaide Film Festival.
Yes.
I wasn't allowed to see it, and it was also my decision not to see it because the thing about a band member seeing a documentary before it's released is you very like to say, "Oh, you got to take that bit out," But
yeah, exactly.
I didn't want to do that.
No, and you don't need that in your head. You've got so many creative things not creative, but expressive things going on right now. You just want to keep going on this momentum that you've got going now. And not go back to the past. Just keep going and just trust that it's going to be fine. The fans are going to love it no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I love the documentary. It's as director Madeline Parry, who's fantastic. She said in interviews, she said, "It's not the story of the Angels, it's a story of the Angels." Because it really focuses on that period from 76 through to 86. So that's when everything happened, when we went from obscurity to big success and then started touring the world. And then that started to come a bit unglued in, mid-80s. 85 was the most ridiculous tour I think the band's ever done, with wrong agency and the wrong kind of gigs, etc.
Oh, no.
And, that caused lots of stress within the band, and all that's brought through in the documentary, and she's done it really, really well. She's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Was I right in hearing that's going to be in cinemas?
It's been in cinemas. It opened it opened in 90 cinemas around the country. It's opening in New Zealand, I think, this week. But it can be streamed now through YouTube, so it's out there. It's just not in cinemas anymore.
I think I saw something else where it was the cinema thing. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. But one thing I've always wondered, and I'm sorry to go back to me, but Into the Heat, I never hear that anymore at any shows or it's like an invisible song now, but it's such a good song.
Thanks for bringing it up. We might suggest that we do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Do you know these days when I just need to hear it?
I really do like that song, actually. We did that
Yeah,
and
yes.
back on You at the same time. But this is the thing, we generally find that fans of ours remind us of songs that we've virtually forgotten about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
I wonder
it's a really nice problem to have, and that part of the problem that we have is why we're doing this Brewster Brothers Electric thing, because you know, these are songs that we actually love playing, and we just never get to play them. So
yeah.
this is the chance to do that. So where it's going, I really don't know. We'll probably just do these 4 shows and that'll be it. Who knows? You know, just wait and see.
I don't think so. I think there's going to be a lot more coming, and I just love the way the band just keeps rolling along, and with John and everyone else that you bring in, and it's like this big, you know, the Angels family, the Brewster Brothers family. I just think that's wonderful. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I really, really do. Is there anything you would like to share with me in our couple of minutes left?
Well, I can't share this coffee.
All right. So, have you been up really early today, haven't you? Been up since like the crack of dawn.
But I do that. You know, I love them. I love the mornings. I love dawn. You know, daylight saving finishes soon, so dawn's going to come a bit earlier. I think. I can't remember. I can never work out which way it goes.
Well, we've seen a lot of those. But we've seen a lot of dawns, but it's mostly from staying up all night, isn't it?
It used to be.
Yeah, it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, I got to look after myself these days. You know, I mean, you can't do what I do and look and do that anymore.
Well, you're looking
those
good.
Shows that we just did. Did I tell you we did New Zealand with ZZ Top and Pat Benatar?
No.
And we did 4 shows. Oh, sorry, 2 shows. It was going to be 3, but Whitianga got bombed out by a landslide. But we did Taupo, which people call Taupo, but the correct pronunciation is Taupo. It was amazing. We played to 20,000 people, and then Queenstown. And if you haven't been to Queenstown, New Zealand, it's one of the greatest places on earth. So with ZZ Top, there's Pat Benatar and her husband, Neil Giraldo, the most lovely people. We become really good friends with them. And also Stone Temple Pilots, who are like a 90s band. And
a great 90s band.
Yeah, great band. And so we became good friends with them, with particularly Paul and... Dean and Robert, the 2 brothers, the 2 guitar players, bass player and lead guitar. Great shows. So, you know, we get these wonderful gigs these days. You know, we've always had wonderful gigs, but it's still happening, and life is so balanced for these. You know, for me, I mean, in the old days, we'd go out for weeks on end. Leaving your family behind, sometimes months on end. When we were touring America and stuff, it was harder. It's easy now, you know. We love it.
Yeah, and you've definitely worked very hard to get to that position where you can love and enjoy it and not feel any of that pressure. And it's very, very obvious when we see you perform how much you love it, how much of your spirit and soul combines with that, and all that energy you give to the audience. You know, we're very grateful, speaking on behalf of all your fans, incredibly grateful that you've kept going and kept the music so relevant and so fresh, and found ways just to make it even more beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, even the love songs that have come out of the Angels band, you know, Love Takes Care, and even Out of the Blue, I feel is a love song. Wanna Be With You. You know, you listen to them when I'm a teenager and it's like, yes, that's okay. It's not as good as the rock songs, but now it's like, that's moving me as a little tear there. It's just, you know, the music is just so wonderful, you know, and enjoy it when I was a kid, but now I appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful thing for me. You know, I grew up in a classical musical family, and I was kind of the black sheep because I was into rock and roll. And my brother Rick, my brother Rick was a classical pianist, won the Eisteddfod in South Australia at the age of 16, and I ended up getting him onto my side of the fence, and he's become you know, hugely recognised, wonderful lead guitar player.
Yeah.
So, you know, I say to people, yeah, you know, he's pretty good, but, you know, he'd be nothing without me, I say, which of course is complete bullshit.
100%. John, you sound
Yeah.
like you were the one who pulled everything together. Oh, my friend.
Well, I was pretty pushy in those early days. I was
had to
hell
be.
bent, you know. It was like, what else am I going to do? I want to be in a successful rock band, you know. I sort of burned all my other bridges behind me. So, but it wasn't just that. I've had a passion for music since I was a kid, and you know, and you know, I'm showing my age, and I'm quite happy to do. I'm 73 now. I grew up in the 60s, and you know, the Beatles came to Adelaide, and I was there, and you know, I slept in the streets.
You were there for that.
Yeah, I slept in Gawler Place for 3 nights with my friend Jack Goss to get our Beatles ticket, because you had to. We were there from Friday night through to Monday morning, and then Dylan came to Adelaide in 1966, and that changed my whole life. I'm a huge Dylan fan, and I was since 63, I think, when he did his first album, which was just called Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
he was amazing. You know, and the what was going on in Adelaide, a very conservative town, Adelaide, and that whole music thing that happened in the 60s just changed the whole landscape. You know, we all broke free, you know.
what a great time to be alive in rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, when I say that about it, I mean, Adelaide's always been a great town. You know, it's wonderful, but it was very conservative, very sort of almost English conservative. And then, of course, the Vietnam War came along. We all marched in the streets against that. And, you know, you could walk around Adelaide on a Saturday night, and there was a club about every couple of 100 metres with some great band playing. It was wonderful stuff. That was the environment I grew up in. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is sure. I was going to say Perth is very kind of similar to Adelaide in the country vibe. Feeling of the town, but Adelaide's a lot cooler because Perth used to close at the crack of midnight on Sundays. I didn't know that about Adelaide. That sounds amazing. Oh, well, John, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've been so thrilled to speak with you today. Thank you so much for giving us your little ruse. We really appreciate it, and I really hope I get to talk to you another day soon. And best of luck with the album and those gigs with Symphony of Angels and the Brewster Brothers Angels Rarities. Thank you on behalf of every Angels fan ever.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Take care, love.
You too.